Employers, FKE, is tonight warning that employers will soon be forced to stop employing and to cut down on employees on permanent and long-term contracts as they struggle to tame the wage bill. According to the employers, the move by the government to increase the tax base has placed a huge burden on formal employers and employees and could result in business closures, job losses, and a slowdown in economic growth. They claim the country has already lost over $354 million worth of foreign direct investment in the last 3 months due to a sharp drop in economic growth occasioned by such unfriendly policies, and want the government to reconsider its strategies.
The Federation of Kenya Employers, FKE, has weighed in on the contentious debate over the proposed tax hikes by the government, warning that the approach will not only paralyze businesses, but also spells doom for job seekers, since employers will no longer be able to hire new staff.
We have been seeing a reduction in the number of formal sector jobs even before the current regime came into office. The more you tax the formal sector, the more you make it difficult for those enterprises to create jobs, and we are seeing that.
In addition to the shrinking job market, those already in employment are also not off the hook, with FKE stating that with the new tax measures, employers have been forced to implement a raft of measures to contain the wage bill, which include a reduction of employees on permanent and long-term contracts.
The changes that we've seen in the world of work have made it very difficult for us to have permanent and pensionable jobs or people in long-term contract types of employment. So increasingly we are looking at short-term, flexible terms of engagement, because if you have full-time employees, then there are so many other costs that go with that. The indirect costs, you can add 30% to your wage bill.
Employers have also taken issue with the proposed legislative changes included in the Universal Health Coverage Bills of 2023, claiming that it will raise business costs and strain the already squeezed incomes at a time when Kenyans are struggling with the high cost of living. According to the employers, the approach by the government to place the burden of funding UHC on formal workers and employers is misguided, stating that the formal sector accounts for a small percentage of the overall wage employment in the country as compared to the informal sector.
FKE holds the view that this model will face challenges given that the formal wage employment is only 15% of the total wage employment.
And even the jobs that have been created over the last few years, if you look at any surveys and the outcomes, those jobs are coming from the informal sector, which is 3/4 of the employment sector for those in wage employment.
The employers are also warning of expensive consequences in the business environment, courtesy of the unfriendly policies.
Kenya lost over $345 million worth of foreign direct investment and other investment inflows in just 3 months as economic growth plummeted over unfriendly policies.
FKE wants the Ministry of Health to consider views from employers in the proposed UHC reforms before the bills are tabled in Parliament. This even as they challenge the government to reconsider its strategy.
The underpinning philosophy in tax management should not be taxing people and corporates into poverty. It should instead support many businesses and persons to increase their productivity and thereby enter into the tax bracket.
In the meantime, the employers are also challenging the proposals in the Employment Amendment Bill of 2022, stating that they infringe on the rights of employers and negate the emerging realities of the labour market. Safin Acheng Oma, Citizen TV.